Hey, this is Jeff Vilwalk, the Caribbean Beach Executive. Appreciate you coming to this video. This is the third part of a 5-part series, and tonight we're going to be talking about Costa Rica. Whole reason for the series is that there are some expat havens that have become really popular for either people who are retiring and just retiring really outside the United States. As I'll talk about my next video in the Caribbean, I believe that the Caribbean really is this generation's Florida. And we'll talk about that next time. But there are tons of people who are either retiring or just deciding because of all the stuff going on in the United States. You know what I mean. It's just time to get out and go do something else somewhere else where life's not quite so complicated, and just get on with life and really get on with life. And so because of that, Panama, Costa Rica, Belize, and the Caribbean have become really popular. So our first video, and if you haven't seen it, please go back to YouTube after you watch this and see that. We talked a little bit about the country of Belize. The second video, we talked a little bit about Panama, and this time we're going to talk about Costa Rica. And then after this, we're going to talk about the Caribbean. I'm going to split that up into two. The Eastern Caribbean, which really goes from the British Virgin Islands all the way down to Aruba, on the east side. That's why I call it the Eastern Caribbean. And then the Western Caribbean, which is just the Cayman Islands, the Cayman Islands and Jamaica. And we'll focus in on the Cayman Islands. So, but today I want to talk about Costa Rica. If you've been following me at all, you know that in September of 2014, roughly 10 months from today, I'll be leaving the United States, going down to Costa Rica for 90 days. Now, in Costa Rica, an American can go down there for 90 days, without having any residential visas. Okay, so you can, as a visitor, visit for 90 days. On day number 91, you need to be out. And if you're not out, unlike here in the United States, where presumably people can stay forever, if you're not out and then try to then leave, all right, they will notice that, oh, wait a second, you overstayed your welcome, all right? And chances are, if you do that, you will never be allowed back into the country. What a concept! So, leave after, day 89 probably be good, just in case something happens and, and the airport shuts down. So we're going to go down there for for 3 months. Now, I'm getting a ton of questions. Why Costa Rica? I mean, out of all the places in the world, and I'm known as the Caribbean Beach Exec, right? I've spent a ton of time in the Caribbean. I know it very, very well. But why Costa Rica? And I think there are a couple of reasons. And one, as I've tried to explain to my 5 kids, hey, this is not necessarily permanent, guys. I'm going to go down, I'm going to check it out. At the end of 90 days, I'm going to know everything I want to know about the country. And I make a decision at that point. I'm coming back in December. Now, I may at that point pack everything up or sell everything and move down there. I may decide I've just made a huge mistake. What's my downside? 90 days. All right, so, to me, there's no downside whatsoever, to go do this. So we're going down for 90 days to, to check that out. But why Costa Rica? One, frankly, and I almost hate to admit this, I mean, I'm going to be 60 next year, and the heat, frankly, and again, I love Grand Cayman, and we'll talk about it later. But I love Grand Cayman, I love the beaches, I love the heat, but I love the heat a whole lot more 10 or 15 or 20 years ago than I love it now. It's just getting more hot somehow. I don't think it's global warming. So I've thought about, well, wait a second, where in the world, and particularly this part of the world, I'm not interested in going to Thailand, thank you, but where in the world could I be 30 minutes or 60 minutes away from a beach, but live in an environment where it's 75, it's 81, it's 82, it's not 86, it's not 88, 90 plus, and where the humidity is not so bad. And so Panama's got opportunities. We talked a little bit about El Valle last time, but there's tons of opportunities in Costa Rica. Secondly, I happen to have been in Costa Rica for about a week. I went to San Jose on a ministry trip where we were training about 100 plus pastors from all over the country of Costa Rica. So the other reason I'm doing this is I was chairman of the board of that ministry for about a dozen years. I didn't indirectly know 100 pastors all over the map, if you will, of Costa Rica. So I can go in at least on a warm basis to really anywhere in the country and learn more about what's going on there. So that's another aspect to it. Thirdly, when I was there, I mean, the Costa Rican people are phenomenal. They're fantastic. They call themselves ticos, but they are a very gentle, very happy people. Realize this country has not had an army since the 1940s. All right, it is a very peaceful place, and I think it's a very healthy place. I mean, it's great outdoors. Anything you want to do. I mean, there's volcanoes. There's, I mean, all the inland stuff that you have in the mountains with monkeys and, a ton of fauna, flora, all that stuff. I mean, just great stuff. So whatever you like, if you like the beach, it's there. If you want to live in a upscale expat community, look at the northwestern part of the country, in Guadalajara. That whole province. I mean, that's where the wealthy expats are going, okay? And real estate prices have gone up accordingly. There are places in Costa Rica where you can buy very, very reasonably, and there are places in Costa Rica, like that area, where it's more expensive. Now, there are two international airports in the country of Costa Rica. The one most people think about is San Jose. It's the capital. The capital of Costa Rica is is a big city like any other big city. But unlike Belize, unlike Panama City, or anywhere in the Caribbean, when you fly into San Jose, Costa Rica, you're actually flying into the middle of the country. You're not flying into the coastline, right? So it is a completely different experience than going into Panama or Belize City, where you're literally on the coast, or very, very, very close to the coast, when you're entering the country. So, outside of San Jose, you can you get into the mountains very quickly. I'm talking 10, 15 minutes you're into the mountains. And it's a very different feel from the coast. In fact, it's probably about a 4-hour drive to the coast. Okay? The other airport's called Liberia. Liberia is in the northern part of the country, kind of right dab in the middle of the northern part of the country. You can get there from a lot of places in the United States, including from Atlanta, nonstop. And that is really a magnet for a lot of the expats because people will fly into that airport and then go west to the Pacific Ocean. And that's where that's grown up. So really, regardless of what you are really looking for, my sense is Costa Rica has it. And so when I spend the 90 days down there, end of next year, by that time I will have made a lot of contacts in that country. So, I'll be able to go in, and hopefully, get a 5-year education in 90 days. But also, I think we'll get a real sense of the people. Look, language is a barrier. I mean, I don't speak Spanish. No Espanol. How's that? So I don't speak Spanish. But, I've got to immerse myself into it. I'll have a tutor there, hopefully when I arrive. And we're going to get into it, and we're just going to see what happens. So, look, there's a time to pull the plug, pull the trigger, and say, dang it, I'm going to do this. And we've done that in Costa Rica. So, I hope that's been helpful. Come back for number 4. We're going to be talking about the Eastern Caribbean. Talk to you later.